Landing My Job, A Real Learning Experience by Mario Donaldson. Well, I got online and was looking on Craigslist for a job. And I had been searching and searching for weeks at a time, but I hadn't found anything. But one day I got on Craigslist and seen they were holding open interviews at Applebee's from 2 to 4 p.m. So, how do I prepare for this process? Well, first I started with preparing a resume. And when preparing a resume, I thought, what experience I had would be similar to a possible experience I would have working at Applebee's. Well, I did have some previous restaurant experience working at Pizza Ranch, so I felt that would be crucial to have on my resume. Now going to an open interview, there's going to be more people there, maybe somewhere from 20 to 40 people. How do I stand out? How do I set myself apart? Well, I went with a blue suit with a white shirt and a blue tie. Some may say that this would have been a little bit overdressed for a restaurant job per se. But I felt I wanted to stand out and set myself apart from everyone else. Also, I began doing research in the company. How do they measure to other restaurants around the area? Do they have good reviews? Is their food good? All critical things I wanted to think about. Do I even want to work for your company? My arrival. Be early. Being on time shows that you're not only prepared, but you've thought ahead. In Judith Bowman's book, Don't Eat the Last Donut, she talked about mingling with the secretary. Well, how do I put this into a restaurant situation? Well, they don't have a secretary, but they do have a host. So I mingled with the host, got to know her name, got acquainted with her, told her a little bit about my situation. Maybe she could put in a good word for me and help me get the job. Also, smile to give off a positive vibe. I want to let everybody know that I was not only determined, but I also was in a good mood and I was confident that I was going to get the job. And during the interview process, stand up to greet the boss. That not only shows that you're being respectful, but shows that you have some manners also. The interview process. Body language. Having a positive, attentive body language is very important in an interview process. So what did I do? I sat at the tip of my chair, engaged in the conversation. And how do I want him to acknowledge that I was focused? I nodded and chimed in when it was time to chime in during the interview, letting him know that I was paying full attention. Some of the questions that were asked during the interview. Give me some of your previous restaurant experience. Well, I answered, well, sir, I worked at a previous restaurant called Pizza Ranch. And at that job, I used similar skills that I would be doing here. The next question, why are you good for the job? And I explained to my manager. I said, sir, I have very good communication skills and I know how to talk to people well. I may not be fully trained at this position, but I am a fast learner and I'm dedicated at working hard. There were a few questions that were asked that I did not know the answer to. And so I learned that there's never anything wrong with pausing and thinking. Having a quick response isn't always key. Thinking and saying the right response is most important. My results. That day they interviewed over 30 potential employees. I was the only one hired. The skills that I learned in my business communications class helped me